Hi everyone, so I've been working on this video for a long time. Like a long time. So bear with me and don't yell because I address Sword and Shield at the end. Cool? Cool. Is it ready? Yes sir, the bunker is fully secured and fortified. And you're sure not a single butthurt Pokemon fan can get in. I have my doubts sir, but there's no time for doubting. Is the base secure or not? Yes, sir, Jonut, sir. I've told you a million times. My name is Joey. Now then, let's get started. Pokemon is boring and stupid. Sorry. Before we begin, I'd like to preface this with a few words. I'm sure a lot of people that see this, if people even do see this, will feel the need to make a response video or leave a comment below that's writhing and seething with rage. And that's okay. But know this is an opinion piece. I'm using the design philosophies of Pokemon to explain to you why I find these games to be boring, and then I'll give some ideas on how this can be fixed. But like I said, this is just my opinion. So don't freaking yell at me. If you think all my ideas are terrible and ruin what makes Pokemon so great to you, awesome! Make a response video, or leave a comment here explaining yourself. I'd love to see that. In fact, I encourage it, because then it'd draw more attention to me. And I like attention. But just make sure your opinion is informed. In other words, don't call me stupid and say I'm an idiot for having an opinion. I'm very sensitive. With all that said, Pokemon is boring and stupid. Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but is it? Alright, listen. Pokemon's been around for over 20 years. Wow, that's a pretty long time. And in that time, we've had red, blue, yellow, green, gold, silver, crystal, ruby, sapphire, emerald, FireRed, LeafGreen, diamond, pearl, platinum, heart gold, soul silver, black 2, white 2, X, Y, omega ruby, alpha sapphire, sun, moon, ultra moon, let's go Pikachu, let's go Eevee. And now Sword and Shield. Not to mention, there's a new main series game coming soon, a wildly successful app that made like $1 billion and is still incredibly popular, the Mystery Dungeon series, probably some other thing I'm too lazy to research now, and there's already 8 generations of games, and half of them are the same as another game. Oh, and Sleepin' Home if that counts too. That's a lot of games, and each one is incredibly popular with its own following and fans. So then, what's so special about Pokemon that makes everyone want to play it so badly? I just don't get it. I mean, the characters are easily marketable, it's fun to collect and use the cards, and it's a huge source of nostalgia for a lot of people, but in terms of design, there's a few major flaws that makes Pokemon less than enjoyable. In my opinion, it's just my opinion! And as a quick aside, this video is giving criticism from exclusively a design perspective. The business practices and poor management of Game Freak are a completely different topic. So with that in mind, let's get to it. Look, red and blue, and yellow, in the 90s was a great starting point and a really good point to jump off from. Gold and silver, and crystal, kinda scratched the surface of what a new Pokemon game can do, but pretty much every game after that just adds new Pokemon and some new temporary throwaway feature and calls it a day. What do we got this time? Gems? Crystals? Stones? Beads? I don't know, it's just all the same. Just the MacGuffin of the week. The 4 main issues I have with the gameplay that's consistent across the whole series are: grinding is a gameplay mechanic, there's no incentives or rewards, new entries don't expand the formula, and playing it is a waste of your time. So let's start with the first one because that's how lists work. Grinding is a gameplay mechanic. This is more of a complaint for RPGs in general, but Pokemon handles it differently. Worse. By differently, I mean worse. In most RPGs, you have to grind to level up. Running around, fighting the same high XP enemies, it's boring, repetitive, and it sucks. But you have to do it because if you don't, you're unable to progress. And there's 3 ways to fix this. You can make it so that you level up just by playing the game, which would take effort? Oh no! You could also make battling fun, which would make you want to battle. And lastly, you could just make a good game. But Pokemon doesn't do any of these things. No, instead it gives you 2 reasons to grind. And one of them is the catchphrase of the entire franchise. First, it has a regular battle system with level ups, meaning you already have to grind for that, but of course you can't battle without Pokemon, and you gotta catch them all! Catching every Pokemon is just another layer of grinding on top of the already established layer, and unlike cake, it isn't a good thing. Unless you don't like cake, then it's exactly the same. It's still bad, it's just... anyways. All it does is waste time. It's filler for gameplay. You run around looking for the right Pokemon. No, not that one. Run away. Oh, here we go. Nope, not that one. Come on, come on, come on. God damn it! Well, I might as well do something else with my life since I can't get the right Never mind, it's already 3 a.m. Look at how much time I wasted looking for the right Pokemon, and I never got it. Just battle, run away, battle, run away, battle. And you never get the choice either. A battle starts and you just have to hope that you'll get lucky and get the Pokemon you want. It's just a huge freaking waste of time. So yeah, it wastes your time, but more on that later. As for right now, let's talk about the real offensive grinding. It's so repetitive. Battle, explore, battle, explore, battle, explore, battle, explore. Not to mention the exploration is just walk around until you get to battle again. Buy Pokeballs, catch Pokemon. Buy Pokeballs, catch Pokemon. Buy Pokeballs, catch Pokemon. Visit a Pokemon Center. Rinse and repeat. Am I going insane? Is that all there is? Just catch 'em all? Fight the evil team? For 8 generations? Even the TV show is guilty of this. How many times has Team Rocket tried to capture Pikachu? After 25 years, why not just give up? There's more than one Pikachu. What makes this one so special? Is it by any chance the plot device? Oh, but he got struck by lightning in the first episode, so he's super strong now. That makes no sense. But I digress. Grinding is only one part of the big looming Pokemon problem. Next up we have, there's no incentives or rewards. Catching every Pokemon isn't a reward, it's a chore. There's nothing in the game that pushes you to get all of them besides the player's own natural instinct to collect everything because I have to. And it isn't satisfying either. There's no reward for getting every Pokemon, you just have them all now. Congratulations. Congratulations. You win. It's all the same. You did it. Your prize is bragging rights. There's no incentive to get everything. There's no reward. But maybe it's not about getting a reward for completing the game. Maybe the reward was the friends we made along the way. Or the slaves we captured along the way. In other words, if there's no reward for getting them all, is it at least fun to know? Oh. Well then. The game is supposed to be about catching all the Pokemon, so why'd you make it so that I don't care about catching all the Pokemon? I mean, what else is there? Be the best like no one ever was? That's rather vague. The best at what? Skiing? Shuffleboard? If Jimmy has $3 and buys a soda pop for $1, how many dollars does he have left? 2? 2 what? Apples? Bananas? Be the best like no one ever was. Obviously it's about catching all the Pokemon, but now we're back to where we started. Nowhere. But Joey, you get a diploma for all your hard work. That's a reward. You know what? You're right. This dinky little piece of rectangular pixel art just threw out my entire argument. I guess I was wrong the whole time. This diploma is exactly the kick I needed to want to get all the Pokemon. In case you didn't notice, that was sarcasm. So there's no reward for getting all the Pokemon, no reason to want to besides just because, and it's boring and repetitive to have to grind and get them all. But I mean, I've been using Red and Blue as examples this whole time. That's a bit outdated, isn't it? I mean, the people over at Game Freak have had over 20 years to fix this issue, so hopefully they added some reason to know they didn't. Let's not beat around the bush here. They didn't, because of number 3. New entries don't expand the formula. And no, new Pokemon don't count. Before I go any further, I will say that there is one exception to this rule: Gen 2. If Gen 1 set up the foundations, Gen 2 actually added to and refined the Pokemon formula. It added shiny Pokemon, which don't really do much and hardly appear, but hey, they're still cool. And it added, breeding. Yay! What's Pokemon breeding, I hear you ask? Why, simply put your Pokemon in daycare, let it, and come back after a while, and boom! Pokemon breeding. Pokemon breeding, which, don't worry, I won't talk about for much longer since the word breeding is making me uncomfortable, actually added a whole new layer of gameplay. A pretty thin layer, but a neat one. And then there's the other generations. And here's where the problem lies. Seriously, what new Pokemon games have added to the formula? Well, Sun and Moon added Z-Crystals. The fuck are Z-Crystals? No new game tried to be as inventive or ambitious as Gens 1 and 2. Sure, a new game would add some slight adjustments and features, but nothing truly game-changing. Gen 3? No. Gen 4? No. Etc. Black and White 2 added the shiny charm, which did nothing, and X and Y added Mega Evolutions, which in all honesty are a pretty good and worthwhile addition that shakes up the gameplay, even if they needed to be activated with special crystals and were only temporary. Sword and Shield added Inflation Gigantamax forms. And Sun and Moon added Z crystals, which enhance the bond between trainers and Pokemon. Forget it. But I guess I see where they're coming from. I mean, why change the gameplay when you can just have another crystal on top of the pile of other crystals that are ultimately useless and do nothing? Which mean the same thing, but I was emphasizing, damn it! When I hear about a brand new home console next-gen Pokemon game coming out, I should be excited! Oh boy, a new Pokemon game! I wonder what amazingly exciting new experiences I'll have in this game that... Oh, never mind, it's just the same game, but with 100 new Pokemon and another stupid, useless crystal that contributes nothing to the gameplay! While we're on the subject of each game being the same, I'd like to address something that sorta falls under this umbrella, but also doesn't. So we're gonna have to go on a bit of a side tangent. Okay, so here's the deal. With each new Pokemon game, there's always two versions. Now, back in the day, this made sense. It encouraged meeting other players with the other version of the game to trade with them and collect all the Pokemon, since there were Pokemon that were exclusive to either game. And that was a pretty cool idea, don't get me wrong, but in a modern age where you can just trade online, it kind of feels redundant, don't you think? It feels like a waste of time, like padding, which now that I mention it, reminds me of another aspect of the game. And actually, this tangent can act as a perfect segue to... number 4. Playing it is a waste of time. For the sake of irony, I'm going to try and make this brief. This game is such a waste of time. Running around takes time. Battling takes time. Grinding takes time. That's the whole point of grinding. This game is one big waste of time, and when my time is wasted, I get bored. And, brace yourselves because I'm about to say something positive, I will say that newer entries have fixed many of the time waster problems, but that's led to a new one. See, the older Pokemon games aren't too hard, but because they waste so much of your time, it feels harder. It's not an earned difficulty, it's the illusion of difficulty. The problem comes from the newer games removing this illusion of difficulty and replacing it with nothing. So now, even though they're the same difficulty, the newer games look easier. And this is actually a step in the right direction. They knew to trim off that unnecessary fat. However, by not replacing it with anything, many people now just believe that the newer games are overly ridiculously easy, when in fact, they all are. I'm gonna burp, I think. Yep. So, while they've corrected some of the issue, there's still much to be desired and a lot that can be fixed. In other words, multiple obvious problems still remain. And each of these problems enhances one another too. Grinding and time wasting are an obvious one, but in conjunction with nothing new added to the formula and no incentive to want to even play, it just makes for an overall boring and unappealing experience. So boring. I just want to play a different game. So how do we fix all these issues? How do we take the fundamental design of Pokemon and, without changing the nature of the game itself, make it not boring? Well, let's find out. So, grinding. This one's pretty simple. Don't make players have to grind. There were two issues I had here, grinding to level up and grinding for Pokemon. With grinding to level up, just make sure that those required trainer fights keep you at the bare minimum level to play the game, and that way grinding can be reserved for the players who want to be more powerful. That way grinding is by the player's own volition, and not a requirement to beat the game. Plus I want to point out that I've been a little harsh on the battle system, mostly for comedic effect, but I wanted to say I do actually think it does a lot right. It's fun to strategize and pick out certain moves and Pokemon to use in certain situations. The only problem is, if you aren't leveled up enough, or if you're leveled up too much, it loses that charm. Battling becomes tedious, which of course is fixed if grinding is no longer a necessity. As for catching Pokemon, well, it looks like they've actually fixed that problem. In Sword and Shield, and Let's Go Pikachu, Pokemon appear on the overworld. See, this one's good for two reasons. Yeah, it reduces grinding by letting you pick which ones you want to battle, and by avoiding random encounters, which was the main issue here, but it also adds to the world. It increases immersion. Before, battling and overworld exploration were two separate things, with the only thing connecting them being... But now you can see Pokemon, walk up to them, and then get to battling. Okay, cool. So that checks grinding off our list. So what about incentives and rewards? Well, something I didn't mention earlier is that you can earn money from battles, but I didn't say anything because that's a very small, tiny, small reward. I meant like actual reasons to want to play. Like, what if the point of the story was to prove to the world that you could be the best that no one ever was? Oh, I mean, you're a 10-year-old kid in these games, right? So what if part of the idea was that nobody believed in you? That would give the player incentive on an emotional story level, but we still need gameplay incentives. That being both rewards and battles themselves. For rewards, maybe other trainers could give you more than just money. Crystals? No. I mean things that actually matter. Like, what if there was a way to trade with trainers once you beat them? You know how you can trade with friends who have the game? Well, some people don't have that luxury. It'd be nice if there was still a way to do that. So how about when you beat a trainer, you get to trade with them for one of their Pokemon? It would mean you're constantly switching Pokemon, getting new ones, enhancing your party, and getting better. Of course, you don't have to trade if you don't want to, but the option is still there, so you have a reason to battle if you want a specific Pokemon. And what happens if you lose? Then, I don't know. This is hypothetical, it doesn't have to be perfect. Some other ideas I had is to restrict certain areas behind trainers, so you have to, like, prove yourself before you can get in. You know, it ties into the story and reward incentives. Maybe put some stuff in the overworld too. And I ain't talking like Pokeballs and money. Well then what? I don't know, honestly. If you have any ideas, don't be afraid to put them in the comments. But incentives aren't just rewards and story, because none of that matters if the game isn't fun. I mean, battling can get so monotonous and boring in these games. Why don't we make battling more interesting? I'm not much of an RPG person, but I do really like the Mario and Luigi games and other RPGs like it. Why? Because battles are very involved. It's not just attack, wait, attack, wait, heal, wait, attack. Your attacks do more damage depending on if you press the button at the right time, if the enemy has something to defend against specific attacks, and if you choose the right attack. And when the enemy attacks, there's always a way to dodge it. You can get out of a battle without taking a single point of damage. Contrast that to Pokemon's glorified menu selection, and you got a pretty strong case for the superior battle system. And since we've made grinding optional, gave the player incentives, and made gameplay fun, it removes the problem these games have with time wasting too. So now all that's left is to add new things to the formula to make gameplay fresh between games. And what gets added? Well, anything. Go nuts. To give you an example of what I mean, let's go back to the Mario series for a sec. Super Mario 64 set the stage for what a 3D Mario game should be. Mario Sunshine added Flood, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 had that spin move, and Mario Odyssey added Cappy. Each game has something that enhanced the gameplay in some way and made the experience unique. So in the future, I want to see new Pokemon games do this. Be creative and ambitious. The possibilities for ideas are kind of endless for new ways to play. Not that. With all this in place, the next Pokemon game would be awesome. Gone are the days of boring, endless grinding and battling, and here are the days of grinding because the game is fun. Not because you have to, because you want to. And it isn't just about catching them all anymore. Now I have to prove to the world that I can be the very best, like no one ever was. And plus, this guy's got a level 30 Snorlax, and I'd love to trade him for it. That's the Pokemon game I dream of when I see this. But no, unfortunately we're stuck with this. All they ever add are new Pokemon and better graphics. And I get it, adding things like trading with trainers, that would make the two-game idea practically meaningless. But like I said, it kind of already is. But still, it's all hypothetical. Imagine a world where all that's possible. Wouldn't it be great? Sir? What's up? Well, you've been talking for a while, so I didn't want to interrupt, but there was a swarm of Pokemon fans outside for a while. Oh. Huh. So, where'd they all go? Well, they broke in and are about to attack. Ah, I see. Wait, what?